Hello everybody, it's Bendominator and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the brand new Cubetown POI that got introduced in today's update. Before we get in the video though, if you guys enjoy the content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, because I make videos like this all the time, and you can also use my supporter creator code Bendominator in the item shop #ad. Let's go ahead and get right into the video. So at long last, we finally have a brand new named POI on the map, and while this doesn't make up for the lack of map changes throughout this chapter, it is still a very welcome change to the island. The brand new POI is known by the community as Cubetown, but in-game it is actually called the Convergence, which is a pretty cool name, but I'm probably just going to be calling this POI Cubetown. In terms of location, this POI is smack dab in the center of the island, directly where places like the Spire and the Agency once stood, which I believe to be a really good spot for this POI. It also means that there's a higher chance of a ton of players landing here almost every match throughout the rest of this season, and maybe even longer if this POI ends up staying past this season as well. Which I think is a really good thing because there hasn't really been a hot drop on the map for a very long time. So I think this is going to be a really fun POI to drop if you just want to get some really heavy action at the start of a round. And luckily this POI has a ton of chests, so you're not going to have any problem finding loot. But what you may have a problem finding is mats. This POI pretty much has nothing to harvest other than the trees and rocks around the perimeter, which could definitely be an issue for you if you decide to land this POI. But on the other hand, it could make fights more interesting because players don't have as many mats as they would otherwise. Even with that in mind though, I think this POI really could use some more mats. But other than that, the amount of loot and even ammo is still really good, especially with all the floor loot on top of the chests as well. So luckily this is a POI that is very squad viable, which is something I was definitely looking for in a brand new POI. You just might not all make it out of here alive, because yes, this is a very hectic location, especially right now when it is brand new. But I find it to be a very fun change of pace, even if it took me more rounds than I'd like to admit to get good footage for this video. But yeah, I do find it very nice to actually have a POI that has a ton of people landing here again, because even old POIs that used to be hot drops like Lazy Lake feel so empty. So it's nice to have an option for a really fun early game playstyle. So let's go ahead and talk about the actual design of this POI. So right off the bat you can tell that this POI is definitely not your traditional POI. It's a lot different from what you would expect from a standard location, which in my opinion is both a great thing and a not so great thing. So let's get into the positives and negatives. First off, with my positives, this POI looks really cool. The textures are really amazing. I love the cube ruins and how they get more intense the closer to the center you get. All the models are really great, even if a lot of them are just cubes. It just looks very nice and all comes together very well. Definitely fitting for this season and definitely fitting for a Halloween POI. This location also has a really good layout. There's some really cool areas in this POI. For instance, there's a bit more of an interior area in the center, which is really cool, and it's just a lot of fun to fight here. There's a lot of dynamic heights when it comes to the terrain and where you're fighting. Not to mention there's a bunch of cubes that you can bounce around on, which is very fun. Very good for fleeing fights if you need to, especially in this very hectic POI. It reminds me a lot of the Loot Lake Bouncy Water, so it is definitely a welcome addition. I will say some of the actual cube bounce pads just didn't work for me, which is really weird. It's probably just a bug that they'll fix later, but just something I thought I would mention. But yeah, in terms of layout and visuals, this POI is actually really neat. I like how unique it is. It is definitely very different from your average POI, and that helps it a lot. But in terms of things that I don't like about this POI, I really wish there were a few actual buildings in this POI. It's all pretty much terrain, and while it's really interesting terrain and it's a really cool layout and visual look, I feel like a POI isn't really complete without at least a few buildings. And like I mentioned near the beginning of this video, I would also have liked to see a bit more mats. And while this POI does have a lot of loot, it is a bit on the smaller side. But overall, I do really enjoy this POI, and it is definitely a welcome addition to the island. I've been waiting for a new POI for a very long time, and this is definitely a great one. Let's hope that we see even more as the seasons progress. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new, because I make videos like this all the time. You can also use my supporter creator code Bendominator in the item shop #ad. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter or join my Discord server, both links are in the description below. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.